What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Formula America podcast. We're your hosts, Kurt and Dylan, and today we're going to talk about the upcoming Spanish Grand Prix, which, full disclosure, we're actually recording this a little bit earlier than we normally like to, so I'm going out of town, and so yeah, it's my fault. So all that means we just don't have weather data or the tires that they're using, so it's not like our predictions are going to be any good anyways. So
I've never missed. Get it every time.
Okay, yeah. Actually, I was thinking about it, though. I don't remember the last Spanish Grand Prix off of memory where it was raining.
No, it never seems to. And they moved this track around a ton, like in the year. So I don't think there's any chance of rain, though, for this one. It's summer in Spain.
Yeah. So back in Catalunya, a track that generally isn't known for the most exciting racing just because the teams have so much data from this track from testing here for so many years. But from looking back at last year's highlights, last year was actually kind of exciting race. There was quite a bit of passing. Yeah. It was crazy.
Double Mercedes podium.
It was. We had a double Mercedes podium, and we saw George and Lewis come together in, was it quali when they came together and almost took each other out?
Yes. Yeah, it was.
On the main straight there. Last year, you know what? I stand corrected. I said I didn't know last time there was rain. Last year was the year where it rained inside of George Russell's helmet.
Yeah. Is anyone else reporting rain? Oh, I think that's just sweat from my helmet. This was also the one where Yuki Tsunoda got that penalty for, I'm doing air quotes for those of y'all listening, for pushing Zhou Guanyu off the road.
Yes.
That was pretty ridiculous. Dropped AlphaTauri out of a points finish there. Like, I thought that was a really ridiculous call by the stewards. There was a lot that happened last year.
There was. And you know what? It reminds me last week when you kind of shouted out the stewards for staying out of it. Because what happened with Zhou Guanyu and Yuki last year was pretty much the same thing that happened with Oscar Piastri and George Russell on the chicane in Canada last week. He didn't really push him wide. But
good aggressive racing.
Exactly. So I like it when the stewards stay out of it because, like you said, it dropped them out of a good position right there.
Yeah, it was there was a ton of passing, double Mercedes finish. Ferrari did not do all that well at this track. It's a fun track. I think everyone likes it. It used to be the testing track before Bahrain. Like, it's got a lot of high speed corners, a couple of low speed ones, really long straightaway. Just very classic Formula One track.
Well, it's better now that they got rid of that one chicane right before the long straight at the front.
Yeah.
So they got rid of that, and the other part is it has some really deep gravel traps in this track, which Carlos Sainz
has found.
Who else? What's his? Fernando Alonso basically ruined his weekend last year by going off and ruining his floor. You know, it gets people out, so it's going to be exciting to see. Hopefully, it'll be some good racing, just like last year.
I hope so. It was a ton of fun. I was reading up on I like the Pirelli newsroom, and they haven't released this year's stuff, but I was reading up on last year's, and this track is known for eating tires. Every team did at least a 2-stop last year. Every single, soft, medium, and hards were all used. And this track eats tires. A lot of lateral load that causes a lot of deg, which is why I think Ferrari didn't do so well last year, because they were having so much trouble with the tire deg problem in this track. He's got a lot of undercut, a lot high deg, and so that makes for strategy. A lot of strategy comes into play here, and so almost every team used all three medium, soft, and hards at some point during the race.
That's good. That makes it so much more exciting.
Yes.
There's so much more jeopardy. You've got, the pit crews. Is Kevin Magnussen's crew going to have the tires ready? Is Ferrari going to put the right tires on the cars? It's just so much. Is Sauber going to chase their lug nuts down the pit lane again?
Yeah, it definitely adds some more jeopardy. Not super known for safety cars. They do appear here, but it's more of the gravel traps that get people not necessarily going into walls and stuff like that. But yeah, pretty quick track. Lap records a minute 16 by Max last year. 2 DRS zones. I don't know what else, Kurt. It's pretty straightforward.
Oh, Max last year, he won the race by 23, almost 24 seconds. That
Yeah,
RB19 is just absolute beast.
It wasn't even
And
fair
also
on this
he
track.
got what's that?
I said it wasn't even fair on this track.
Oh, not at all. And he got the lap record because they had gotten rid of that chicane. So it was a much faster track last year.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, how do you think this year's going to go? Should we get into our predictions?
We shall get into our predictions, and you know what? It's just me. I can't do a normal lineup, so I have very intense gut feelings, and I follow them. And
I
I'm
love
going
it
to
when you
follow
follow
them
your
this
gut.
weekend.
Here's where I'm going to pull away on the lead on our predictions. We both have been 0 the last 2 races, so I'm going with no bullshit predictions. I'm getting 6 points this weekend.
All right. So before we get into the predictions, I want to get your take on this, which it might actually show up in your predictions. But, well, Checo Perez, man, do you think?
Funny you mentioned that. That shall show up in my predictions.
All right. Let's just roll right into it then. On pole, I'm going to go ahead and guess that we both have Max on pole.
Yeah, definitely have Max on pole.
I can't deny him on pole here. It's one thing I just can't do is put somebody else on pole above Max Verstappen.
I thought about Lando.
Like this.
I think that the McLaren is going to be fast on this track, but Max is just so damn good.
He is, man. I can't stand it. All right. So we both got Max on pole. P3, who do you got there?
Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, damn. Sir Lewis Hamilton, P3. That Mercedes is looking quick.
It's looking real quick. That front wing made a pretty good difference.
It did. I think they fixed their freaking car.
I think that Russell's probably going to out-qualify Lewis, but he's going to screw up at some point, and Lewis will get in front of him.
I mean, we all know Russell can't handle the pressure.
Yeah.
We saw it every time. We see it every time.
It's raining inside his helmet. You know, he's snitching on everybody as they drive by.
Okay, my P3. I'm going to go with Charles Leclerc. I think Ferrari is going to come back. They figured out their DEG issue. I think that last week was just kind of a one-off. So I got Charles Leclerc P3.
I think that's fair. I agree. Going through these, I don't have Ferrari in my top 3, but I just don't know. I think they're going to be competitive, but 2 pit stops, there's just a big question mark still.
It's so funny because last week we saw a return to the Ferrari of old when it comes to strategy, blunders, and all that. But they've been so good for so long. It was just a one-off, I hope. We'll see what happens. I want to be a Ferrari fan. Hopefully they'll get it together.
Yes. So
right.
P2, I've got Lando.
I too have Lando. I was hoping to be completely different than you, but I'm not taking him off. I'm sticking with Lando in P2.
P1, I got Max.
Oh, P1. He's won here. Let's see. 2017, 18, 19, 20, and 21. 5 years in a row. I got Lewis Hamilton on P1.
You think Lewis is going to... Oh, I would love that.
I think Lewis is going to get P1.
I love that. There's no Red Bulls in the top 3?
I don't have any Red Bulls in the top 3.
I love it.
I told you this is one of those mysterious, intense gut feelings. It could also be the Mexican food that I ate last night. But I'm going with Lewis Hamilton P1.
Oh, I would be ecstatic. You can have
so
those points. That'd be so cool. Wild card.
Okay. My wild card, and let me know if this is not wild enough, but I have a double points finish for V-Carb.
I'll give that to you. I don't think they've had a double points finish yet. So yeah, that's quite wild. That'd be interesting. Yuki Tsunoda was on fire here last year until Stewart stepped in. So
he was, and I'm hoping that somebody, Jacques Villeneuve or somebody else, will come out and make some more comments about Danny because I think it really fired him up.
Yep.
So I want somebody back. Yeah, somebody's got to come out and poke the Badger a little bit, and hopefully we'll see him back up there.
I've got Checo not being in Q3.
Oh, when it rains, it pours, man. I think that's a strong possibility.
Yeah, and the Red Bull's not as fast. Like there's serious competition, and the field has never been tighter. I mean, last time he was out in Q2, and he was only a half a second off of P1. Like, I just he's lost that love and feeling, man. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah. So in kind of what we saw last year, where he started having this really poor string of races right before the summer break. And then summer break, he went and I guess he was saying like he met with like therapists and stuff like that. I think he needs to take some time and go clear his mind. Maybe go do like a meditative retreat with some ayahuasca or something.
I don't
like
know
that
what
in
it is
Mexico.
with the European tracks, but he has not done great lately on the European circuit. So
it's definitely not his strong point. So, man, Checo not in Q3. So how do you think he's going to do in the race, though? I mean, not a prediction, but what do you think?
He's going to get.
Not an official.
He's going to score points. I don't really doubt that. This track is too forgiving. There's not walls everywhere. You can make little mistakes, and as long as you don't end up in the gravel trap, you're all right. You got that long ass straightaway. Like, Checo's not going to be on the podium by any means, but that car is still a rocket ship down the straightaways. He's going to be passing people, and the backfield is just too slow to compete with the Red Bull. So I don't know. I bet he'll end in P5, P6, somewhere around there. But
okay. I don't know what it is. So I like going through. I had Max on pole, but I just don't feel Max on the podium. I don't know if it's going to be. I don't want to go so far as calling a DNF or mechanical issue or something like that. I just don't feel him on the podium this week.
I actually I went with Max on P1 just because statistically that is the most likely, and I need points to spread the gap on our predictions. But I do agree with you. Max hasn't been just on a runaway train like last year by any means. And those McLaren, Mercedes, and Ferrari are in the hunt now. And I think Checo really shows that car isn't the fastest anymore by a mile. It's just in the hands of Max. He is good. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see how fast McLaren's going to be here. I think they are. Lando is the one I was going to put in P1. I don't think it'll be Mercedes.
Yeah, that's super exciting. And it makes you appreciate the RB19 so much more, looking at how this RB20 is and how everybody else is fighting. We've had 4 race winners and 9 races or whatever it is. But man, it's just that RB19 Max Verstappen combo was a complete different level last year.
I mean, it was the most dominant car in the history of Formula One. Dominant duo, car and driver.
I don't know if or when we'll ever get to see that again.
I mean, last time that it was that dominant was 04 Michael Schumacher. Even Lewis at the height of his wasn't that dominant.
No, I guess it's generational.
Maybe so.
Gonna be a bit.
So I don't know. I think that it's anyone's game for the podium, and that's a ton of fun. I'm super excited for that.
I know. I love it. I love it now that we have to actually try. Like last year, it was always Max pole, Max P1. I love that we actually have to put some thought into it and kind of go with some gut feelings. And you know what? Sometimes you throw something at the wall and it sticks. Like when I called Max's DNF that one time.
That was legit. Best prediction. Best prediction ever was last year, first race when I called the entire podium with Alonso on it. I'm going to put that as number 1. But you calling Max DNF was definitely a close one.
That was definitely close. It was good. It was good. All right. So if you guys don't know, make sure you check us out now. We actually got a Patreon we just set up. It's www.patreon.com/Formula America. It's just a place where we can do a lot more informal and, a lot more informal chats and talk about some topics that maybe we can't really put on the actual podcast. So check us out there. We're uploading on YouTube now, Formula America there, and Formula_America on Instagram. Other than that,
you're just running that social media, bro.
It's growing, man. It's growing. But yeah, man, I think that might be it. You got anything else for this one?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys after the race weekend, and we might be maybe a day late depending on how I feel traveling back. Hopefully we'll get back in time, but we'll see you guys next time.
And on that note, stay classy, America.
We'll see you guys
Way
next
to drop
time.
the ball, Kurt.